Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. We're at Charles Krug Winery, the oldest winery in Napa Valley, and Jim Morris is with us today, the VP of Guest Relations right here at the winery. And tell us about Peter Rudolph Mondavi Sr.
So Peter is one of 4 children from the original Mondavi family, Cesare and Rosa Mondavi, which
Okay.
their portraits are over on the wall
Right.
on the other side of us. And so Cesare and Rosa purchased this land that we're sitting on, 150 acres, back in 1943 for $75,000.
Oh, wow.
So they did okay on their real estate side of things, and so now we're in 5th generation.
Right.
So Peter Sr. And his brother Robert,
Right.
the 2 boys, and then was Mary and Helen, the 2 women, their sisters. But in the Italian families, it was the men that ran the business.
Sure, sure.
So Peter and Robert, as well as their father Cesare, ran Charles Krug Winery from 1943 through when Cesare passed in 1959. Robert and Peter then took over the reins with Rosa remaining as the chairman and CEO of the winery.
Okay.
So she probably was officially the first woman. This was probably the first woman on the winery.
Well, yeah, you think about that, and at that time, women didn't run those type of businesses.
Yeah, so she ran it, and then the brothers themselves. It was kind of an interesting tale of how they. So Peter was he was the scientist. He was the brilliant mind behind a lot of different innovations in the wine business. He created cold maceration.
Oh, wow.
Which is now a standard in winemaking.
How many winemakers are using cold maceration?
Yeah,
almost everyone.
So Robert was the marketing genius.
Okay.
And so Robert and Peter had 2 very different styles in how they did things.
Right.
Robert was the marketing visionary.
Sure.
He was the one that insisted, along with his brother Peter, that we should start importing French oak instead of using American oak or using redwood barrels.
Right.
So the Mondavi family really they're instrumental in a lot of the things that are still used to this day.
Well, you really think about it, and they're the first family of American wine, and they're the first name that pops up in everybody's head when you think wine, especially in California, especially in Napa Valley. And you have to have both. You have to have the marketing genius, and you have to have the scientific guy that's putting everything together.
Yeah, indeed, and that's what the combination of Cesare and Robert and Peter were really monumental in moving Napa forward. And the brothers had a very famous falling out. We won't go into the details, but Peter maintained the helm of Charles Krug Winery.
Right.
And then through his vision, and then that of his son Peter Jr. and Mark Mondavi, then advanced it to the next level.
And Peter Jr. is currently a winemaker.
No, so Peter Jr. And Mark are, we refer to them as the G3, the third generation.
Okay.
So they're both co-proprietors of the winery.
Okay.
So, and what is fun, we are still uniquely in Napa a family-owned winery.
Right.
It's one of the important tenets to what we're
Well, for being such a big winery to still have that family ownership, that family connection, that's incredible.
Yeah, so it's, we drive up and down Highway 29 or the Silverado Trail, and it's like, Constellation, Turlotto, all the different ownership groups. It's like, we're still independent. So.
Well, Jim, I thank you so much for inviting us and taking us on a little history lesson here about Mondavi, about Charles Krug. And we'll be right back with more Rex on the Road right after this.